Hi, Shao.
And hello to all you other wonderful weirdos witching.
Oh, I should probably quickly mention. Yes, I do have an injured thumb. I crocheted to the point where it hurts, but yeah, I did a row this morning and it really, really hurt. So my progress on my third hat has slowed significantly. It's getting there. I just gotta give my thumb more of a break, unfortunately. So yeah, crocheting to one side. I've had a curtain rope, the thing that you just tie the curtain to the one side to. That broke on me, so I just thought that makes a perfect, instead of attaching a ribbon, have a curtain rope. Hilariously, it works quite well. So, rope around the hat, it's fine. Yay. So, yeah, The Look Thief by Tade Thompson. I have already read some of Tade Thompson's work before. Most people will probably know him best as the author of the Rosewater trilogy, which is sat on my TBR side of my shelves. But I know him better as the author of The Murder of Molly Southbourne. The Murders of Molly Southbourne. So yeah, turns out there's a third one to these ones. Really good sci-fi concept. Did enjoy. Very like unique, and I'm actually happy that this is a blog who recognizes women have periods. Like, oh my god, and it works for the freaking story as well because just gonna quickly sell you on this. Um, every time Molly bleeds, a clone grows from it, and she kind of gets along for a while until eventually that clone starts to try and kill Molly. So she's got to kill herself every single time a doppelganger is grown from her blood. She's really got to make sure she doesn't bleed. Oh yeah, and they're just novellas and they're really good. Nice little interesting reads. I really need to get my hands on the third one because that is very interesting. It's just an interesting little concept that you don't really see much of in terms of experimental concepts of going places. And I got to see some of Tade's little experiments with the concept here that I both love and hate. Oh, God. But yeah, so we have The Look Thief in this collection. I both love it and hate it. It's good and it's also not, I think, his best, to be perfectly honest. But I I can't. It's been a minute since I read The Murders of Molly Southbourne, so I don't particularly know if this is technically better than, but we'll get into it. So we are following a teacher who is noticing somebody looking into the school playground. Anyways, so there's this bloke who is constantly being seen outside the playground, looking in, poking his head out of a bush. You know, the creepy stuff that you do call the police for. Yikes. So she reports it to the police, gives the description, and eventually the police officer detective um comes knocking 3 o'clock in the morning on her door, and turns out the guy that they arrested, Bello, Oren Bello, walked out of the police station pretending to be that detective. It's embarrassing, but he's there on the teacher's doorstep to give her this information, and the teacher is just like, "Oh, would you like a cup of tea?" Hoping he wouldn't, accept and just leave. But honestly, at that point, if you don't want him in, don't ask if he wants a cuppa. I don't like the teacher in this book. She's, even though I do totally understand the OCD moments when she's commenting in her head, she's just like watching the policeman like eat a biscuit and brush the crumbs off into the carpet, and how he's slurping tea out of the saucer, which I have not seen outside of Only Fools and Horses when Del Boy did it. I'm just like, that is a very weird way to test your tea. I don't understand. It's, do people do that? Because I use my saucers for biscuits. I have saucers, but I always use them for like biscuits and small snacks. Never to put tea in it. Yeah, it's weird. And she's commenting on that she's now got to clean the surface that that he has put the cup down on, because he's not exactly keeping tidy. He's actually sat down without even asking. Like, he's not being polite. And as somebody who has had a police officer in their house at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's a bit odd. Yeah, you don't. Policemen don't do that. They always have to be that professionalism and politeness, which already sets the tone of what the hell is going on here. And so the policeman is doing the weirdest thing of telling her Bello's story. And it feels very irrelevant, and you really hate this policeman. Oh, so yeah, it's very weird. So we get Bello's story. Basically, we see this guy fall in love with a witch on stage. When I say witch, I mean a Shakespearean witch. She plays one of the witches, and hangs around and meets her after the play is over, and they go for a coffee. And then we get her backstory as well, of why she's called Shouting Girl, has a friend called Cat Girl, and Makeup Girl. Yeah, that there's these three friends that meet up in a coffee shop. I'm gonna go through their story real quick because it's probably better to do this in that way, just because it's kind of interwoven throughout the story as each thing goes along. So I'll get through their story real quick. So these three friends, one of them, Shouting Girl, who is Run, the person Bello falls in love with, she basically was addicted to cocaine, and when she came off it, she still owed her drug dealer 1,000 quid. So, in order to try and get out of it, she asks, is there any sexual favors she could do for him? And instead, he ends up having her embarrass people by shouting at them in public until to scare them into paying him back. Basically, doing the dirty work of trying to get other people to pay him back by, yeah, it's not the bulky guy goes and intimidates. It's deranged woman shouting at you in public, type of deal. So yeah, she's got the nickname Shouting Girl because she did it in that very cafe that she keeps going back to. Yeah, the normally when you get asked to leave by the cafe staff, you don't normally go back. There's like a feeling of embarrassment that not people would normally get, but she's going back there every time with her other friends. So that's kind of how she got the nickname Shouting Girl. Apparently, yeah, that's how she has gone about things, because she was unemployed at the time, so she needed to get out of her £1,000 debt. Her friend Cat Girl, not much is said about her other than she's compulsively drawing missing posters for people's cats. because we get this little snippet of he's that makeup girl kind of leans up against a lamppost and it's covered in these missing cat posters. And it's kind of, she draws them for clients, which already is like, when is this set? Because normally when people put up a missing cat poster, they would use a family picture. Like, oh yeah, how many times do people take pictures of their cats? But it never is stated when this story is set. So this story might not be set in modern day because why is somebody being hired to draw missing cat pictures? But she's also making up ones that don't exist. She's drawing them. She there's one scene in particular where she's drawing the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, even making up details from an owner called Alice Lindell, or yeah, she basically. So how is people supposed to take these missing cat posters seriously if she's also making up cats? This is like, yeah, I don't understand that whatsoever, but apparently it's a compulsion. She's compulsively drawing these cats just to get it out of her head until she eventually gets a cat. But, weird. And so we have Shouting Girl, Cat Girl, and Makeup Girl, who Bello does pass on the way to a second date. He asks her, "Oh my god, are you okay? Do you want me to call an ambulance?" And she's just like, "No, it's okay." But that's a good thing, though. He passes her the second time on the way to see Shouting Girl run. I'm just going to call her Shouting Girl. They are the weird sisters. What can I say? The weird witches. Anyways, they run. He's on the way to run for for another date, and he passes the exact same girl, beaten and bloody. Are you Are you sure you don't want me to call an ambulance? Who is beating you? Because I got the impression it's Shouting Girl because she keeps her hands under the table. Did she just come away from Shouting Girl punching her? Because we did just get that story of the drug dealer. She could just not be entirely, shouting it at them. Maybe she's punching him, but no. No, Makeup Girl is a makeup artist. This is all makeup that she's doing. And she is literally doing this as a protest for a very bloody good reason. Because she had a lover killed by an ex of hers. And the police reports stated that she was walking the streets bloodied and bruised for hours before she died, and nobody helped. And so, as a protest, Makeup Girl is also doing the same, but without the actual being beaten up. She's just going around makeup to make it look like she has been, and writing a book based off people ignoring her. And yeah, she does eventually release that book, A Year of Being Ignored. Yeah, that is pretty messed up. It kind of reminded me of the psychology study that, because back in A levels, that was one of the things I did. We did do a lot of what people do to test people's reactions in public. There was one in particular where they got somebody in the middle of London. There was a drunk and somebody who was just lying there, didn't look homeless or drunk whatsoever. Just so people were more likely to help someone who had just is lying down in the middle of the street than they are if they were holding a bottle. It reminded me of that. And it also reminded me of a murder that happened, and nobody phoned, nobody in the apartment building phoned for help because they expected somebody else to help, somebody else to phone the ambulance. It reminded me of them. It reminded me of that. Yeah. These are those two examples I gave are real examples. This is kind of calling upon that. But yeah, so that's Makeup Girl's deal. She's doing that. There's quite a few scenes where they all three of them are sat around a table. Cat Girl's drawing her posters, and Makeup Girl is making cornstarch drip from her ear. Run, the shouting girl, is talking about her experience dating Bello. Because Bello, we get their relationship a bit. So, on their first night together, Bello is standing naked at the window and he kind of sees something rise up out from a manhole, and he knows those things are like locked shut from the surface. So seeing something rise up like a blob, and yeah, it's kind of gross because from this blob that emerged from the street, a woman steps out from it, and oh goodness, oh, it's basically all of made up of all of the things that we throw away. It's a rubbish angel. It's I'm pretty sure used condoms were part of that. Gross, because it was just like used as skin sewn together, and it's like ew. It kind of reminded me of Good Omens, where the pestilence was replaced by pollution as a horseman. So it's a I both loved and hated it because it's like a commentary on human waste. It's not exactly great, and the environmental impact. Oh dear. So yeah, bit gross. But also, she has wings. This woman that's emerged from the sewers has wings. Oh, because the wind kind of comes and drags all of this paper to her, and it unfolds into wings, and she flies away, and she is seen by Bello, and he's thinking he's dreaming, but when the shouting girl wakes up in the morning, he's not there. It's nothing to do with the witch, apparently, that came out of the sewer whatsoever. So turns out every single time that Bello and Shouting Girl have a date, it's 3 days, and he phones back on the fourth, and they get another date. Oh boy. Shouting Girl wanted to surprise Bello by cooking for him. She has one dish, jack a potato and tuna, but it's at least the thought that counts. So she goes and sees a woman standing in Bello's robe at Bello's door, accepting a parcel. She holds back and runs away and is telling her friends about it. And her friends are just like, it could just be his sister, mother, etc. It could be a relation. Eventually, she takes up to stalking. Like, technically, it's a stake out, like they do in cop shows, trying to figure out what is going on. So she's basically follows this woman, and yeah, it's her. The woman she's following looks exactly like herself in Bello's clothes. So Bello now has to explain that he has been cursed by a witch because he was once homeless. He ate a bowl of food on the middle of the crossroads junction where like an island in the middle of traffic. He ate a bowl of food from there, and a witch came. He got a lot of luck. He kind of broke his leg, was in the hospital, but that meant that he was able to be found by a solicitor to tell him that an aunt died and left a home to him and some money. So he was able to get a job and all that, and his look changed from accidentally eating a bowl of food, because that was not meant to happen. He has stolen luck, says the witch at his doorstep one time, and he's just like, you ate the food you were not supposed to. That food was meant for the birds, for other things, like women who cater food at the market. That is what that food is for. And so she is cursing him because he has no idea how to give the look back. And the curse is an empathy curse. He turns into somebody who he feels an emotion for. The first time it was like somebody famous that he saw on screen, and then it just became, after the third or fourth time, he kind of realised what was going on. He's transforming into somebody else, and it takes 3 days before he turns back. So he's been turning into his girlfriend and then phoning after the 3-day period after he turns back to himself. It's pretty cool in terms of how this curse is working, and I do love a good curse. I kind of hate how they go about after that. So he explains it to Ron, and Ron does explain it to her friends, and then they're just like, they take him to that angel. The angel is hovering in the middle of the room that they take him to, and is, instead of the same appearance as he saw the last time when she came out of the sewers, her wings are made of scratch cards, and the halo that is circling behind her is no longer a tire tube but barbed wire. It's quite surreal, and I still love and hate it. Oh, because you hate it because it's just like, this is what humanity is doing to the environment. Oh my god. But you love how surreal the whole thing is. Oh, it's good. But here we go. This is the thing I drop off because we have to go back to the teacher, because throughout telling this story, she is constantly objecting. How is this relevant? You're telling me a love story. What is going on? And so the policeman gets to this point where it's just like, oh, it's all relevant, it's all true. I'm Bello the whole time. I've been trying to tell you this all night. But I need to give back the look. Catgirl was able to decipher who I needed to give the look back to through those scratch cards. And so the boy who was having all them nosebleeds that I was looking at, yeah, no, that's the person, it's his dad I stole the look from. And unfortunately his dad is dead, so I need to give the look back to this boy. The teacher helps. That's the one thing I can't get my head around, is why? Why does she help? Oh. There could have been like a food truck or an ice cream van. I don't know. Could have. It would have been more plausible to it just would have been more plausible to have the ice cream van, because that would have been, I don't know, a little bit better, a little bit more plausible. Gives you an excuse to be around a child that you can give the look back to. But even then, you take to stalking a child outside a playground. What? It doesn't take an idiot to realise that that is like crossing a line. And the fact that the teacher agrees to help. So he kind of gets Bello into the kitchen staff just to cook for the whole school, and serves the food to the boy and says, "I'm sorry I stole your food," which confuses the boy, but it's just like he still eats the food that he's cooked for him. Yeah. That's the one bit I don't. Yeah, it's just not plausible. But after that, we get this little snippet of passengers of this one particular bus service between this road and this road kind of witness something odd, and it's about an old veiled woman, the kind that was on Bella's door cursing him, and what every witness agrees on is a performance artist with wings, are in a bit of a confrontation, and eventually they hear, "Next time you'll not involve yourself in matters that don't concern you," and then all the lights turn back on again. And it's kind of like this old witch that has cursed Belor is just like, how dare you get involved in my curses? But yeah, we do get like the aftermath of Catgirl gets a cat, Makeup Girl releases the book, Bello and Shouting Girl live together, and there's this nice little line of, oh, I suppose better. Even in a world of witches and angels, good fortune is from what you do, not from what you have. Which is why I'm now living a life of love and laughter, but this is not my story. Maybe next time. Why is the teacher? This is from the teacher's thing. I'm just like, I still don't get the teacher's involvement. It's just weird. But I do like the line about the look. But at the same time, it's fine. It's fine. I did like the building of the magic and curses and this angel-like woman that is basically made of human waste. Like that kind of made it like this. It kind of made this story on the same level as Bora Chung's The Head. Oh boy. Yeah, that kind of thing. It's a bit gross, but at the same time, quite a commentary actually. Quite a commentary. Which, yeah, I do appreciate a good environmental message there, even if it is like very much in the subtext. Ugh. But yeah, that's this week's short story. Kind of very cautious to try what Rosewater trilogy now, but yeah. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah. Bye, Shell.
And bye to all you other wonderful weirdos witching.